Right, so a lot of people have been asking me questions about what airline should they fly when they come to the UK, what airport should they land at, and this kind of question. So today's video is really short. I'm just going to answer that question as quickly as possible, and I hope it helps as many people as possible also. And if you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, I'm going to work like literally in a few minutes, and I just thought to quickly film this before going. So yeah, the main question is like, when you come to the UK from any part of the world, say Nigeria for example, you want to fly with the best airline possible. And in my case, when I flew to the UK first for my studies, I flew with Emirates Airlines because I felt like I considered a few factors like the affordability, the quality standard of the airline also. So initially I was going to fly with Qatar Airways, but because Qatar Airways required that if you flew with them, you'd have like a stopover or layover in Doha, and that meant that you also had to get a visa. And I'm like, I've already gone through the stress of trying to get a student visa. I'm not trying to stress myself again by trying to get another visa to stop over in a country that I'm not even going to be staying at. So because of that, I decided not to fly with them, and I chose Emirates Airlines. And to be honest, like initially when I booked my flight, the stopover was supposed to be for only 4 hours. But what happened? I missed my flight, which is like very odd because I mean, you come to a new country, you're supposed to be like excited, be ready, and get there on time to get and arrive at the airport on time. But I was waiting for all of my family members to go together, and we're trying to like go to the airport together. So I was waiting for my dad, for my mom, for my siblings, for everyone to get ready, even for myself, including myself, to get ready. But long story short, because we're waiting for a lot of people to get ready, and because of the traffic in Lagos, I ended up missing my flight. And when we arrived at the airport, we were begging people that, can you just allow us to check in? Can you just check me in? Blah blah blah. But they said no, that check-in had closed, and because of that, I had to like rebook my flight. And so when I rebooked my flight again with Emirates Airlines, and the only available flight had a 10-hour stopover, which meant that I had to like stay in Dubai for 10 whole hours. I don't know anybody in Dubai. I don't speak Arabic. I don't have any family or friends in Dubai, so it was like I was there for 10 whole hours, literally not able to like do anything. I didn't even have money on me to spend, so it was like just miserable. But thankfully they had a praying area in the mosque, and I stayed there for a while, did my prayers, and later sat on the bench in the airport just waiting for my flight to be called. And that's the main gist, that okay, if you're trying to decide on what airline to fly, I'll tell you to consider a few factors. Okay, are you happy to stop over in a different country for a few hours, maybe 4 to 10 hours or even longer? Can you afford the airline that you're trying to fly with also? And other factors to also consider, maybe you should also consider the landing airport. So in my case, I chose to fly with Emirates Airlines because they were going to land in Stansted Airport, which is not too far from my uni, so you should also consider that. And so just consider the cost, and the cost of the flight was like very cheap, obviously because of the layover, it made it a little bit cheaper than flying directly from Nigeria. Because if I was to fly directly from Nigeria, like straight, like a direct flight, no stopover or layover or whatever, it would have meant that I would have flown for only about 6 hours, which is like superb obviously. But 6 hours would have meant that I would have had to pay a lot more money, maybe flying with British Airways. Some of my friends have flown with British Airways, and they're like, the experience is also good. One of my friends flew with Etihad, and she was like, she didn't like the experience at all, like she wouldn't recommend flying with them. But obviously I'm not saying don't fly with Etihad, I'm just saying that you should do your research and decide on the best airline to fly with. Obviously our own experience was not the nicest, but if you fly with them again, your experience may be different. If you fly with them in your own case, your experience may be different. So don't just like base that on like our own experience of like our own bad experience with Etihad. But there's a number of airlines to fly with. There's a number of airlines that you can choose from depending on what country you're flying from. So make sure to do your research. And that's it really. I flew with, and to just wrap up, like this is supposed to be a very short video, but anyways, to just wrap up, I flew with Emirates Airlines. I missed my flight. The tickets was relatively affordable. What else? I had a layover of 10 hours. It was supposed to be 4 hours, but because I missed my flight, I had to rebook, and then it was 10 hours. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't actually mention, because I missed my flight, my seat was upgraded, and because I missed my flight, I had to pay extra. And it was still economy I paid for, but anyways, my seat was upgraded to business class, and it was like, oh my days, that is so amazing. So this was how it happened. I got into the plane. I was still trying to find my seat because obviously I'd never flown before, and that was like my very first experience of flying. And then I was still trying to find my way, like, okay, where do I go, what is my seat, and all of that. And one of the hostesses just came to me and was like, "Oh, are you Farida Adem?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Farida." And she was like, yeah, just come with me. Just give me your boarding pass and take this one." And I looked at the boarding pass and I was like, "Oh, business class." And then she was like, "Oh, your seat has been upgraded to business." I was like, "Wow, that is amazing." So long story short, I flew business class with Emirates and it was like the best experience ever, like chef's kiss. So I would definitely recommend flying with Emirates Airlines. But obviously do your research, find the best airline that works for you and the airline that you can afford. Look at the standards of the airline, look at how they treat their passengers, and that is it really. And in terms of landing airports, the options are Stansted Airport, Heathrow Airport, or City Airport. And especially if you're going to the University of East London, you may want to consider like, oh, City Airport, but I've not really seen a lot of airlines actually landing in City Airports. So if you're flying from a different country, say Nigeria, I've tried to see if there are any airlines that land in city airports from like Nigeria, but I haven't seen any. So for example, if you're flying from Nigeria because you're going to the University of East London or to other universities around the area, I don't really think that you'd find an international flight from Nigeria that will land in city airport. So your best options are either Heathrow Airport or Stansted Airport, and those two airports are not actually far from UEL or from universities in East London if that's where you'll be studying. And that is it for today's video. I think this has gone on for a bit too long, so I'm going to wrap up now. Like, do your own research, check how much money you can afford to spend on a flight. Obviously, check the standard of the airline. Also, don't just fly with any random airline. Maybe they'll put like a chair and a table, like, I don't know. But yeah, make sure to check the standard of the airline. Fly with the best airline possible that you can afford, and don't miss your flight. Don't miss your flight like I did. But obviously, if you miss your flight and you're lucky enough and you pay a little bit extra, and that means that your seat is also upgraded to business class, then why not? But obviously, don't miss your flight. It's not the nicest experience, because if you saw the way I was crying when I missed my flight, it wasn't the nicest at all, because I was like, oh my days, I've got my visa already, and now like I'm supposed to be flying to the UK, I'm supposed to be flying to London, I've missed my flight. Like, who does that? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But anyways, that is the end of today's video. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you again next time. And obviously you probably noticed that I've not posted videos in like a long time, but I'm really sorry about that. I've been really busy, like work and other things that have been coming up that I've been busy with, and now I'm actually going to work in this shirt. I'll see you again next time really soon, and until then, have a nice time. Bye.